Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Toby here, and today we're going to be discussing some of the best cars to buy secondhand or used for those that are looking into doing performance modifications. So maybe you want to pick up a car that's used and you want to throw some power adders at it or do some cosmetic modifications or any modifications in general. We're going to discuss my subjective list of the best cars to buy. So the first on the list is the 2011 to 2022 or the current Mustang GT. Why do I say so? Well, these cars come with a great platform for an engine, and it's called the Coyote. So you have the Gen 1 Coyote, which is from the 2011 to the 2014 Mustang GT, and then you have the Gen 2, which is 2015 to 2017, and then you have the Gen 3, which is the current Coyote in the most modern Mustangs. So 2018 Plus features the Gen 3. On all three of these engines, you can throw full bolt-ons at them, maybe add over 100 crank horsepower than what it comes from the factory, and you can still reliably go into high miles with these engines. They have no problem doing so. I personally have a Gen 3 Coyote making 850 crank horsepower, maybe even more. I think like 890 crank horsepower, 15,000 miles so far, not a single problem with the engine or the block. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So I chose this car due to its low depreciation rate, not only its low depreciation rate, but also the fact that you can throw decent power at them and still have a reliable engine that'll last for a while. Not to mention, there are several people like myself who are boosted that have achieved 100,000 plus miles on these cars. So as long as you take care of the engine and you do the proper supporting mods when adding power to them, they can last you a long time. Now, another car that has a really great and low depreciation rate is the Mazda Miata. So any late 20th century Mazda Miata is going to do the job. Personally, I really like the 1990 Mazda MX-5 Miata. I mean, people do LS swaps to these things. It does come standard with a 1.6 liter dual overhead cam inline 4, making 116 crank horsepower and 100 pound-foot of torque. And you do have the option of going with the 5-speed manual. It is a rear-wheel drive car, so this is a great car for anybody looking to get into the car scene. Super simple. You can obviously pick them up for cheap. I don't know in COVID terms or like in the COVID market if they're still as cheap as they used to be. Well, we can do a simple search. So it looks like they're going for $10,000 to $13,000, and usually these cars would go for a lot lower, so I would wait for the market to drop, but usually you can pick them up for around $3,000 to $5,000, throw some modifications at it, and have a really fun track car. The engine itself is really reliable as long as you take care of it. I mean, that's a common reoccurring theme. I mean, don't expect to throw 30 pounds of boost at it and for it to last. If you want to do that, I suggest getting a built LS, which is also why I really like this car. So it's a great platform if you do want to rip out the stock engine and put in something like an LS from Chevy, and you can make big boy power in a light frame of a car. So the Miata is definitely a car that you want to consider. You can have a badass and kick build, making around 700 wheel horsepower and I don't know what, like a 2,500 pound car for just about $30,000, the price of a new Mustang. Now, on the more expensive side of things, we do have the C6 ZR1 Corvette. So this was produced from 2009 to 2013, and it featured the LS9 6.2 liter supercharged V8, producing 638 crank horsepower and 604 foot-pound of torque. What made this car so special back then and in modern times was its exceptional handling and track capabilities, as well as its quarter mile time. So it did outrival a bunch of more expensive hypercar alternatives, especially from European automotive makers such as Porsche. And to this day, you can make about 620 to 630 rear wheel horsepower with simple bolt-ons. So this is headers and that type of stuff. This car is super light at 3,300 pounds, and stock it ran a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds, a quarter mile time of 11.6 seconds at 127 miles an hour. So there is tons of potential to make this car extremely fast. It does feature partial carbon fiber body panels, so it's definitely something to look into if you're looking for a fast car that you can build. What I like about this car so much is that it's versatile. You can either make it a drag car, you can track it because it already has a crazy low center of gravity, great handling capability, etc. I mean, we can just look at its Nürburgring time. So it ran 7 minutes and 19 seconds, which to this day is extremely fast and faster than any modern Mustang GT. The only real problem that I see with the C6 ZR1 is that you're going to be paying quite a hefty price for a car that's over 8 years old. So it's almost actually 12 years old by this point in time, depending upon which year you want to pick up. But you're going to be paying in the neighborhood of $60,000 to $80,000 for an older car. But you do have to remember that it's quite the bargain and has a bunch of performance potential. So that's pretty much going to do it for my list of top 3 cars to buy secondhand if you're looking to add some performance modifications or do modifications in general. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and remember that this is not an exhaustive list. It's subjective and it's my own personal opinion.